Hello and welcome to my review of Fishing Barents Sea. It's the console edition on the Xbox. It costs £24.99. I think that's probably about $30, maybe €30. I'm not really sure. It's a PC game and it's been ported over to the Xbox. But in this case, it comes with all the available DLC that's been put out on the PC over the last couple of years. And I've got this game on PC, and I've not really played it very much. I got it really because it was quite cheap. And graphically, I think that this is a better version. It just looks better. But then again, I played it on a little laptop, so that could be a difference. Anyway, it's got all the DLC with it, which is including the crab fishing. I'm sure if you've watched, I think it's Deadly's Catch, you'll know a little bit about crab fishing. Anyway, I'll get on with the review of the options. It's your standard stuff. Music, I always have that turned down to 0. I've got master volume at 50%. You go into video, I don't know what bloom is, but we all know what gamma and brightness are. And then when you go to camera, for some reason it shows you the controller with the sensitivities. And on the right there, you'll see it says camera stroke zoom. Well, I can only rotate the camera with that stick, with the right stick. I don't know how to make it zoom, and I've had the game a month, so you'd think I'd have guessed by it, I'd have found it by now, even by accident. And then you've got the game sort of tab. It gives you distance units. I've got it on Imperial, and I've got it on miles an hour, not knots, and I've got it on Celsius, not Fahrenheit, but you can have it on whatever you want. What happened to centigrade? We just seem to have forgotten that, don't we? I'll load a career, which is where you start. It's basically starting conditions. Now, what I would recommend is that you do the tutorial, because I think that gives you a bit of extra money. It's loading now. It just doesn't say it's loading, but the picture will change, something like that. I'd recommend that you start with the tutorial because it opens up a little bit of the map, which I'll show you as we go. It's an interesting game for a for a console, and it is a PC port. But I think the graphics are actually better in this than the PC. Now this is the port that you're starting. I'll go to the map and show you that. The controls are a little bit clunky. If you look, there's a menu down at the bottom right hand corner there. I'm using the D-pad to navigate that, and then when you go out to sea, you get a similar menu at the bottom of the other side of the screen, the left side. So that's time acceleration there. You can skip 24 hours or skip a week or skip just up to an hour if you wanted, and you'll see that can become important as you go. It's just a matter of whether you want to do it like that. If you don't do that, the game more or less runs in real time, or up to a point real time, even though it is accelerated all the time. So that's your map, and if you zoom out, and we're in port there as well, all the grey area is for you to discover. You've got to make all that grey area blue like that, and that green area in the top left hand corner there, that's a specific area that you use for deep sea trawlers. Basically, it's like an infinite zone. So it says fish population in the top right hand corner. I've got it set on all species. I don't know if you noticed then, some of that blue area went yellow, and I'll zoom into it because that's where the fish population is. So you can narrow that down to cod. There's not much cod there. Haddock, there's more haddock. Pollock, redfish, and king crabs. So redfish seems to be probably the strongest population in that area. Bearing in mind, it probably, that fish population will probably extend towards that little island that we can see there. It's just that we've got like that grey area that we don't know really what's beyond it. It's a bit silly, but it's a game mechanic, and the game mechanic is there for a reason, because initially you have to have like driving licenses or boat licenses. So when you go to, let's have a look at, I'll show you the ships that you can get. You have to wait a little while for this to load. This is our ship. that we get given, and it tells you all about it in the stats, its speed. A lot of it can be upgraded as well, including your cargo and cargo capacity, and even your quotas. Your quotas are important because once you've got to your quota, no matter what you fish, you can't sell it. So it's a waste of your time and money, you know, because it costs you fuel and all that to go out. So this is your initial boat. It requires an amateur certificate. Get your teeth in. Amateur certificate. So the first three all require amateur certificates, and it tells you all about, and you learn as you go. This Selfie is probably the most versatile boat because you can use the long line fishing, you can do crab fishing with small pots, or you can do net fishing with like these, well, the nets, and you leave them in the sea for a certain amount of time, then you go back and collect them. And that requires a junior certificate. And the way you get your certificates is by doing a certain amount of mileage or kilometres, by actually driving the boat in real time. So, and now also driving the boat in real time is the only way that you can make them grey areas into areas that you actually know. So I'll just quickly go through your port things. You've got there, you can refuel your boat, repair your hull, because you do take damage. You can actually, not really, I've never sunk a boat, but I've had it so damaged that I had to have it towed back. It didn't actually sink though, but you can get insurance, which I'll cover a little bit later. Now you can change the name and the colour of the name. It's like when you start, you can change your captain's name and his gender, but that's about it. You can't. There's no fancy dressing up or pirate hats or like that in this game. It also shows you your reputation changes as you go, and that's important because you end up getting more. If you've got a good reputation in whatever particular port, you can sell things for more money, and that's always going to be a bonus. So now you've got your upgrades. You can upgrade your storages, upgrade your engines, and you have to do them sequentially. So I can't jump to number 3. I've got to start at 1, and then do 2, and then do 3, and that's the same for all the upgrades. At the moment I've only got 20,000 corona, and that sounds a lot, but it don't go very far. Now you can have your quota upgrades, and again you've got to do them sequentially. Now these searchlights and these masts, they're just sort of eye candy. They're just for show. So I never normally bother with that. I don't know if there's any way you can repaint your boat. I think there might be on the PC version, but I haven't seen on Xbox version. I've played it a lot, and I've pretty much tried all the different boats. I've put a lot of hours into this game. A lot of hours. So that's your boat. You're fixing it, your port, and you're buying new boats, right? And then on there, you've got, it's like going into town. You can hire crew. Now, it looks like the skills look like they're important, but what the really important thing is what the rate is. So Dan Trump is on 1.3%. That's 1.3% of your total catch when you come back, and that can start running expensive when you've got several crew members on board some of the bigger ships. Also, if you look underneath the picture of Dan or Kristen, whatever she's called, there's a little green line, and that little green line is the amount of work they can do, but that gets bigger. If you look at Kristen, she's got quite a good green line there, and she's got a 1.5%, and all her little yellow bars, they're not that big, but they will all improve as she goes. Now Karen there, she's got a tiny little green line underneath her portrait, but she's got bigger yellow bars. Just a tip for you, I would definitely go for the lower rate, because they will learn the skills that you want them to do as they go. So that gives you like a bit of a, I don't know, it's like a bit like an adventure game, you know, when you're levelling up your party and stuff like that. I like that sort of thing. So that's a good plus point. There's your bank. Now if you get down to 0 money, and I'll show you how you can do that. At the moment I can get up to 100,000 krona loan, and I'll come to that in a minute. But at the moment I can get up to 100,000. This is like going to the pub and it's deliver a catch to a cruise ship. It's just a mission, but it increases your reputation. I'm not going to do a mission, but when you do a mission, just so you're not confused, if it wants you to, it says 110 kilograms of pollock. When you catch 110 kilograms of pollock, it basically tells you you've got enough fish on board, and it automatically saves them for you in a special part of the hold, and you can't access them anymore. So you can't take them to port and sell them by accident. You'd find the cruise ship on the map, but one word of warning, because this is your initial starting boat, you haven't really got the range to go driving around map too much, so you could run out of fuel before you get to the fish, before you get to the big cruise ship, which is, it hasn't happened to me, but I've had to be patient waiting for the cruise ship to come to me. It's just something to watch out for, that's all. And it can be confusing. I can't remember what that does. Oh yeah, that's like signing up to a rescue service to getting towed back, unlimited free towing, etc. And then there's insurances you can get. This is where we get to the sort of more. This is where you can actually basically ruin the start of your game if you're not very careful. And I will purposely ruin my game just to show you something. That's your fish prices. What you're currently selling for. They can be a bit misleading because some of the fish are actually smaller, so you actually catch more of them, if you know what I mean. So it can look like it's best to buy to get cod at 18 krona per kilo. That's the highest price you'll see, because they all have 4 different ones depending on the size of the fish. You can't catch mackerel with this, and you can't catch crab, so you're only looking at cod, haddock, pollock and redfish. And you're thinking, well, it looks like it's better to get cod, but that might not always be the case, because the cod will be bigger as they come aboard, so they take up more of your hold space. So I haven't quite worked out myself which which is the best to catch. I just tend to go for density of fish and go by my quarters. So if I've got a lot of redfish left on my quarter, I'll just go after them. Or, you know, pollock, I'll go after them. It depends. And the only way when you're in port, while I'm talking about quarters, that you can find how much quota you've got remaining is by going to the going to the ship sails and looking at your own boat like that, and then you can see. You can't tell what it says now because they're empty. So they could be full or empty, but they're actually all empty. And when you've got when you've actually sold some fish, you'll see the bars filling up. If I remember, I'll show you when we come back to port, because I'm going to go out on a little fishing expedition in a minute. But first I'll explain what you haven't got to do if you haven't done the tutorial. If you start just wade into it like I'm doing here, you go to your little shopping basket there, and then you go to the little thing with the hook, and it tells you what you've got on your ship. Now this can be a little bit confusing. If you look at the top left hand corner, you can see there's a plus and a minus, and it says 250, it says 2 and then 250 with the hook thing, and I'm going plus and minus there, but I'm not pressing it, I'm just using the D-pad. So then it says I've got 2 unbaited long lines. So then what you've got to do is you go to your help, it's like a wiki on here. Oh no, first of all, go to your map and see where your fish are. So say you're after redfish because you think that's going to give it best price. Think, alright, well, where am I going? It's over there, so I can plot a course. So I'll plot a course to the outside the harbour there, and I'll put another waypoint there. It tells you on the screen how to do this. And I'll put another waypoint there, and I'll put another waypoint there, and that'll take us right to the middle of where we can see that there's fish. So then I'll back out of that, So that's my waypoint set, and then I'll go to the game wiki, which gives you a lot of information. This is basically, it tells you how to play the game in here. And the only problem with this is where it says getting started there, it's just highlighted that, but you can't tell what you're on, because there's no like board around it. It just seems to be on it. That's telling you about your certificates. So if I now go D-pad to the right, I'll go into a different category. It tells you about your different fish, and now it's telling you about the fish bait. And this to me is one of the most important bits, because you go down and it tells you about fish bait. But we're on shrimp, so it says your catch probabilities with shrimp: cod 60%, pollock 20%, haddock 15%, and redfish 5%. So just because I want to, I'm just going to go to the one that gives you most redfish, which is it's krill. So when we go to the shop, I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to go out and catch krill. So we go to the in-game shop, go to the net, go to the hooks there, highlight the unbaited long lines, and then select what you want. So I want krill, that's for redfish. Now it says there at bottom, bait the 250 metre hook long line with krill for 1500 krona. Okay, now up here you'll see you've got different long lines. You got the 250, one of them will cost you 10,000 krona. That'll cost you 20,000 krona, and we can't even afford that because that's 40,000 krona for the 1,000 metre one. And you're thinking, well, I'll get 1,000 metre one. Well, basically what you'll end up doing is the boat won't be big enough. You'll only be able to put one line out, say, and it'll fill your hold up, and you'll have to go back to port. So I found that out, but it's just one of them things you find out as you go. So a good way to ruin your game is just jump straight in here and think, all right, I'll buy myself a couple of 500. Oh, I can't. I'm down to no credits. Oh well, I'll just sell it, you say to yourself. But when you sell it, you can only sell it for half at price. So you basically just lost 20 grand. And if I buy them all now, and I've now got no money, and I go to the bank, I can't take a loan out now. So I've got the potential of pretty much ruining my game. And you're thinking, well, that's not a problem, but it is a problem, because when I go back to the shop, I can't afford to bait my lines, so I can't go out and do any fishing because I've got no money. So what I've now got to do is I've got to sell. Hang on, I've got to find the right thing there. I've got to sell one of my long lines, so that I'm now back to what I started with. But I've now, when I started with, I can't remember what I had, 20,000 or 30,000 krona, I'm down to 5,000 krona. So I can only afford to bait them two long lines, and I'm now down to 2,000. So I've basically lost a lot of money when I needed it most. But it doesn't matter because I'm only showing you. But that's just something to be careful of. So we've got everything set now. Don't need any crew. I've got my waypoint set, so it's time basically to leave port. And sometimes this game will smash you into the wall, basically, and damage your hull. And you got to watch how the boat drives as well. Oh well, I've just found out how to zoom the camera after all this. You have to press the right stick in. It's a bit tetchy though. I hate that. There's something about pressing these stick buttons in. It wears your controllers out. Anyway, at least I found that out, so that mystery's solved. I've been playing it with the camera fully zoomed in all the time, even on the big ships, and it's been really annoying me because I haven't looked at the controls. Absolute idiot. So this is it really. Putting around in this. Now this is just a bit of interest for someone that you may have watched this, and you may have looked at one of my videos that I did earlier last year about Train Sim World, and you may be the guy that left the comment, because I was complaining in Train Simulator World about how the graphics leave like ghosting behind them. I don't know if you can see that, but if you look at the masts, the things that's sticking up, as I move the camera around, at certain distances, it leaves. Oh, come on! It leaves ghosting. Don't know if you can see it now. Anyway, I mentioned that was bad graphics in my review of Train Simulator World, and someone said in the comments, "Oh, that's a result of the Unreal Engine which this game uses in Train Sim," and I went, "Well," I basically says that I don't think so, mate, but it looks like you were right. It was a problem with the Unreal Engine and not a problem with the game. So this is it. So this is inside your boat, and when you're inside your boat, you can basically do what you can. You can see your little tiller moving, and you got your controls, fuel gauge. That's your weight. Well, that usually tells you how much weight you've got remaining when you highlight that. Oh, it's saying that. Oh, I can't see it for the microphone. It's saying storage 3,000 kilograms free. Now you can upgrade all that, and that really does get quickly used up. So you can walk about on your little boat. You can't fall overboard. I've tried. You can't do it, but like I said, you can actually damage your boat. You can go in there, but I can't remember how to crouch. You got binoculars, which I literally never use, and you can upgrade them. I didn't show you the upgrades of tools you can get. I'll show you them when we go back to port. There's different tools you can get. That's my logbook. Tells you, it's quite good actually. It's quite comprehensive. There's little tips in there. That's a list of what jobs you're on. That's what gear you've got set. You'll see that in a minute. We haven't sold anything. And this is your certificates. Now, I'm on amateur certificate at the moment. But I'm going to my next certificate that's going to be... oh no, what am I on at the moment? I'm not on amateur. It's amateur I'm working on, I think. I can't remember. But you can see I've got to do 20 kilometres. And at the moment I've only done one. But we're cruising out at full speed at the moment. Oh no, we're not. Now we're full speed. The controls are very, very basic, and I would like to see. It doesn't happen so much on this boat. This one's quite nice to drive, but the next boat I'm going to show you after this one, which is probably the fastest one in game, it can be a bit of a pain to steer it, because as you go to steer it, I'm just going left stick, left and right, and there's a little bit of a delay. You can even see the ship's wheel in there moving. You can see it sort of leans over and does this, that and the other. Well, it totally overreacts on the faster boat, that one that's called the Selfie, and it's very unnatural. I've driven boats in real life and they don't react like that. They sort of react a little bit more like this. There is a bit of a delay, and they're hard to get in a straight line because there's such a long delay. If you make a very small input, it takes a long time for it to show up, because it's about your rudder angle. So in the game I would like to see what the actual rudder angle is, rather than just I'm turning left. That's just something they should have put in. And the other thing is you can never get rid of all this stuff on screen. Now I can get rid of some of the stuff on the right. If I press right trigger, that little menu at the right goes. If you press left trigger, that little menu there goes. But you kind of need them. You got lights, you got running lights, and then you got your little spotlight on top. You got internal light, and you got your horn. So I'll turn them off. That's work light, and that's spotlight. All the lights are off now. So we're heading out to sea. But that's just giving you the little course on how the ship works and that. So what we'll do, this is the only way, apart from being in the harbour, that you can speed your time up. I've got my waypoints set, and I can just now press A to fast travel. And fast travelling uses more fuel, but it doesn't really matter because money's not a problem in this game, as long as you just learn the basics of playing. So we've arrived, and we know that there's some fish here, and we've got us hooks baited, so we should be catching redfish when we eventually catch them. So I'm just gonna set my gear. So I've got a 250 metre line, and all you do is press A, and the ship's even set off itself. I've not done anything, or rather the boat set off itself, and it's leaving there you go, it's left it behind it. Now you're not to have them too close together, so what I tend to do is I'll set waypoints so that I can read the distance. So press wrong button. So if I set a waypoint, I press wrong button again, what a dumb brain. I'll just set a waypoint behind me there, and that'll give me a measurement, so I can see up there it's 640 yards. It tells you on the map, so you don't have to look back. So I want to go at least 100 yards, so I'll just go faster. And that's what it tells. If you read the in-game help, it tells you all this. I've just made it up or looked on the internet, it just tells you. I'll set the other one now. I'll just dump it over, and there it goes. Oh, it's only 25 metres. I must have been dyslexically reading that wrong. I thought it said 250 metres, or is it 250 hooks? I can't remember. Right, now, if we go along, I'm using the D-pad to go right along the bottom menus there till it says, look, the fish. So I press on fish, and it tells me that we don't have any fish. We've got nothing that's gutted. There's quarters and there's cargo. It's basically zero at the moment. So then I go to my hooks. It tells me that I've got it's a 250 hook. Yeah, it's 250 hooks. Long line out. And how old they are. So that's 31 minutes. Now I can't remember because I haven't done this for nearly a month now. You have to leave them a certain amount of time. Now we've got a semi-real-time clock, and I think we've got to leave them about from what I remember, about 18 hours. So you're looking at like best part of a day, aren't you? So if it's nearly 6 o'clock at night now, 18 hours from now will be like midday tomorrow, won't it? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my map, and I'm going to leave that there, that waypoint, and I'm going to go back to port. Or I could just do waypoints and fast travel. So it's 1740, and now I can start fast travelling all the way back to port. Quite often something will get in your way and it'll stop you fast travelling, and the game has see right there, that boat stopped right in the harbour mouth. That happens a lot, and it stops you and it becomes a bit of a pain in backside. Anyway, I'm just accelerating now. All you got to do is get into that sort of light purpley blue square, and then it asks you if you want to dock, and I just say yeah, basically. Sometimes the boat's been damaged docking as well. Anyway, before it's even stopped, you can go back and do all the different things. Now, when we go back to his map, you can see that each one of them is showing, the 1 and the 2, they're showing as red. Well, they change colour as time goes, and what you're looking for is when they go blue, that's when you're going to have maximum catch. And I think that's probably, well, what time is it now? It's 20 hours. It took us, well, it takes about 5 hours or something to get here, doesn't it? 4 or 5 hours. So we want 4 hours back. I'll tell you what, I'll just skip I'll skip 12 hours. So now it's tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning. So let's have a look at the map now. And you see they've changed to green outlines now. The next outline, I might have took a bit too much time there. Yeah, I want to leave still, yeah. I'm going to reverse out because the angle it's put me, I'll crash into the wall if I don't. So while that's doing that, it won't, but it's frozen now. The boat's not moving. I'm just putting waypoints so that as soon as we get out there, I can get to them, or rather I can start them. Yeah, the waypoints are funny because it goes to like the centre of the flag. I would have thought it'd be right at the bottom, so they can be a bit airy-fairy where you put them. It just won't let me go do waypoints when you're too close to your lines and that. It's one of the things in the game. It's that simple. What you can do about it. I can straight away. I don't have to mess about. I can just straight away go to fast travel. See, they've gone blue now, and they won't be blue that long. So when you end up with bigger boats and more stuff out, you know, some of the boats you can have. I can't remember, but it's a lot. I think it's like 50 flipping grab pots, which you've got to go manually. You've got to manually set them and manually collect them, and order your crew members about. But you can just see them there right in front of us. I mean, this is what you do with your binoculars for. What's binoculars? Yeah, but you can see them without binoculars. So to me, it's just pointless. I'm just going to slow down and you'll see what happens. You need the right side of the boat where you can see there's like a little metal thing sticking out. I don't even know what it's called. So I'll take the speed down. All you need to do is get it within that red area. You just need to get your lines. And then you come to my least favourite bit of the game. You can tell I haven't done this for a while. This is what I'm on about. You got the delay on your controls on the boat. So that aspect of it's sort of realistic. I've got full left rudder there. And now I'm just giving it a little bit more forward. You don't actually have to stop right on the mark. You'll see it'll light up green, and then I just press A basically to hold the gear. And you have to select the icon on the left there. Would you like to hold the long line? And this is now where you get I can't remember what I do. Oh yeah, you just press A. You see the circle, you know, I've got a really silly mini game, but it gives you a bonus as you're going. It's a little bit silly, I think, and it's the same when you're doing net fishing, not trawling. Trawling don't have a mini game, and neither does, well, crab fishing don't really have a mini game either. It's just this. I find this really annoying. And you can even buy a better hook that gives you better fish. It's really silly, and I don't like this sort of thing. It becomes really repetitive, and you can see my bonuses building up. I'm at 28%, and obviously you get better at it as you go. If you get it perfect, it gives you an extra 5%. If you get it okay, it gives you 3%. But you can make it so it's actually gotten worse, like you've lost a fish or something like that. They look like a lot of redfish there. And the position moves as well. For some reason, the boat's turning round while you're doing this. See, that one's okay, it didn't give me a bonus, but there we are. I've got 25 redfish, 170 kilograms, 6 pollock at 77 kilograms, and 4 haddock at 26 kilograms. So that's basically our little catch there. So now it puts you on the gutting table. I don't have to do the gutting now, but I will show you the gutting. And you can buy a gutting knife that makes it better. I'm a bit out of practice with this. And this affects how much you can sell your fish for. You want to keep between the X's. So I've got, like, that's a 3-star gutting I just give it. I don't remember it being this hard. I think I might have missed out on that one. So I pressed A. I think I must have got better at this as I've gone. Because that's a lot harder than remember it being. That's a 4-star gutting. I was getting 5-star ones, no problem. And it don't make you do all of them. It makes you. It's a bit like a mini game. It's because we ain't got many fish. It was only 2 or 3 goes at it. So I think I messed one of them up by just pressing A. You know, like almost accidentally. I'll get this next line in, and then I'll explain a little bit more about that. Not too much more. I mean, that's the basis of it. If you don't gut them, you get less money, and the better job of gutting them that you do, the more money you get. It's just that simple. It's yet again, it's another game mechanic, and it's both got this little mini game in it. The gutting mini game to me is better than the hooking mini game where you just press the button and have to get the timing right. I just don't like that kind of thing at all. This is going to be quite a long review, by the way. It's up to sort of 30 odd minutes now, and I'm nowhere near finished. So it's just basically just going to rinse and repeat this. So what's going to go on is, you know, I'm going to take this boat back and make more money, upgrade the storage and upgrade the engines or whatever, or maybe take a loan out, and you just keep on doing that. But it's not too much of a grind. I found it an enjoyable game, but I'm playing it like this so that you're going to get I hope you're going to get a really good idea. See, I got 3% for that because we're only good. As if you get a perfect one, you get 5%. Yeah, I'm hoping you can say, oh, well, I don't like this game, or I fancy this game, or whatever. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed finding out how to play it. Because somewhere, like the geek I am, I've got it all written down in another book somewhere that I can't find. You know, exactly how long you leave these lines for, exactly how long you leave a crab pot for, and what kind of time it takes you to get from one part of the map to other in whatever boat, however it's upgraded, you know, it's it's just my geekiness. But this, to me, I hate these sort of mini games. It's just, and there's a mini game for the net fishing as well that's even worse than this. It's absolutely awful. And I will show you it, and I don't like it. But I want to show you the net fishing as well, and the crab fishing, and the trawling, so you know what you're getting yourself into. So that's my catch. I only put 2 out, didn't I? I'll gut again. I could have left the gutting and then done them all at once. So press A, and then you want to be right between that X there, and then this left stick along. Oops! Oh, I went miles off there. 3-star gutting. But you see, it's only 30. That's gutted 34 kilograms worth. Yeah, I think he must improve at this, unless my thumbs have got terrible, or this new controller I've got's no good. It's like wobbling all over the place. Maybe you do get better as you go, you know, like, I don't know. I did buy a better knife though, so it might be something to do with that. You know, you can upgrade with the knives, so that's that. So what we're going to do is go straight back to port. I'll briefly show you. Hang on, I'll get the waypoint as far over there as I can, and I'll show you the reason why. Well, it's the game mechanic to get you to basically explore the map to get your certificates so that you can get the bigger boats, because you need to get the mileage. So when we come out now, if you look at the map and I start going as fast as I can in whatever direction I want, which in this boat isn't very fast, I've only got a little. I mean, it is a bit silly. Look how far you can see, but it's only opening up a really small amount of the map. So this boat is not really the boat to be exploring the map on, especially with your initial radar that's got a very low sort of sight bubble around it. If I go back into here, you can see it's telling you how much fish you've got there. 376 kilogram of gutted fish, and we've got 2.5 tons, well 2.6 tons free basically. And you can still walk about your boat. You could walk up to here and you know, start going, oh, I want to gut my fish now, you know, while the boat's just discovering land for itself. It does, the sea state does change, and the weather changes, and the weather changes in a way that's not really very good as well. If you go to your weather forecast, I've got to go over here, and it says, you know, it gives you wind and all that sort of stuff. And then you get a long range weather forecast, like it says that's for Sunday, that's today, 16th of August, and then Monday it's raining. Now what'll happen at exactly midnight, 0000 hours, it'll change and it'll be raining, and it's always thundering, always. And sometimes you get a choppier sea, and it can be a bit harder to navigate about. But sometimes it'll do that, and then your boat will just turn left or right. It's a bit hit and miss. The weather effects are not very good. The transition from day to night's not very good. You very rarely, you don't see red sunsets or red skies in morning. It's all like this, or it's overcast, and it's almost always thundering and lightning, and I think that's a very poor do. You see the sun going down there behind the boat. You see how fast it's going. It's a little bit too fast for my liking, and then when the sun actually goes down, you don't get a sunset. It just kind of gets dark, which is just, to me, that's just really poor. When you look at some of the pictures that you get in the loading screens, it looks like they might have slightly different colour palettes on the PC version, unless people have been messing about in Photoshop, because you certainly don't get it in game, and I think it's very, very poor. The lighting effects are quite nice, but the colours of the sky and the sound effects are just poor. Anyway, I'll go back to the map. I'm moaning about that. Go back to the map. You see, that's quite a small bubble, isn't it? Of, you know, when you zoom right out, it's not. I've not really revealed that much, and I can't just waypoint back there now. I've got to waypoint back up the bit that I flipping know, which is there, and there. So I'll get us back to port. Show you how you sell your fish, and then I'll load another ship and show you maybe crab fishing or something like that. They say something's blocking our ability to fast travel, and it's that stupid little. No, what? Nah, never mind. Look at the size of that boat. I've had that crash into me. That big liner. That's usually where your missions are. This review's running really, really long. But I guess this is that, you know, you're gonna know if you want to play this after you've watched this. I might do it in 2 parts actually. I've enjoyed playing this game, I must admit. There's a lot to it. And most of the help you get's in game as well, which is good, you know, on the in-game wiki. I like the logbook that you have as well. This logbook's good because it keeps a record of all your fishing that you've done. It's just telling me I've got to my last waypoint. Yeah, there is some graphical bugs on this, but when you just reload it, you can save it quite safely. I have up to now, and it's not affected it. So when you get a bug that manifests itself, I've saved it and reloaded it, and the bug's gone. No problem. Don't want to dock? Yeah. Don't want to sell me catch? Yeah. So that's my first catch, and it's netted me 4,500. I don't know why that writing was red on the sails of the pollock there. Maybe it's because they want gutted. I don't know. And that's my progress towards my next certificate, 4.2 kilometres. It's telling you haddock demand and, you know, in-game events and things like that. Mackerel breeding. Well, you can't fish for mackerel in this boat. You need a really, really expensive boat to fish for mackerel. That's later in your game. Haddock season's just started. Jobs, gear. So that's the gear that I set, and it's telling you, you know, when and where and how many hours it were in the sea. And the game actually keeps these forever. You know, for whatever career you're in, whatever boat you're in. When I change boats, this logbook stays the same, including all my sails. So it keeps a record, a complete record of your sails. It doesn't keep a record of all your mileage, because you get to your last certificate and then it stops keeping it. I'd like to see it keeping your mileage. So you've got all, you know, you've still got a lot to go. You've got all them boats to unlock, and they're quite interesting as well. I've got games with the selfie, the lunar bowl, and I haven't got the Hermes yet, but that's the last ship. But Luna Bow, it requires a skipper certificate, and it's a big boat, a very big boat. And I think I've got that one as well. Is that the big crab fishing one? Yeah, big crab fisher I've got. Svalbard. But it's good. What I'm going to do is I'll probably load another game and show you that. And if not, thanks for watching. I'm not sure because this is a long video already. Mind you, I might as well, because you don't have to watch it, do you? You might have thought by now, this isn't for me, or this is for me, and I want to watch some more, or this is, I'm going to buy this regardless of what the crab fishing's like or whatever. Now I've loaded the game that I've got that's got the selfie in it. It's called the selfie, and it's the only boat in the game where you can do 3 different types of fishing. You can do line fishing like we just done. You can do net fishing, which is they dangle the water in the nets, not trawling, and crab fishing with small crab pots. So when you go to I think it's the shop. Oh no, it'd be upgrades. When I go to upgrades on this, you can see I've got it all upgraded, including the radar. I haven't got the quotas upgraded, but what I can do, that long line hauler is what was on that other ship, the smaller boat rather that we saw. I've got the net hauler on at the moment, and I've got the pot hauler. So I'll show you the net hauler, and then when it comes to crab fishing, I'll show you on a bigger boat, hopefully. So it's same thing. We're just gonna have a quick look at the map. In fact, it's going to be a little bit easier because fast travel. There's a load of fish up there, and you'll see it when I'll put the markers near it. You can damage your nets and things. I'm not really sure how you do that. I think you might do it in this silly mini game that they've put into it. I'm just not a fan of mini games, and to me it's a little bit childish. I'd prefer it more of a simulator. Like I said earlier, I'd like to be able to know what they, what the rudder's doing and things like that. But I don't suppose, it is what it is. You can't change it. So I'm just gonna basically set off immediately. I've got the ship set up for net fishing. So I'll leave port. I've got 1 crew member. This is the fastest boat in the game. It's fully upgraded. It does over 30 knots. Yeah, it does over 30 knots. 30 mile an hour. So, oops, press wrong button. I can straight away just go on to fast travel. But like I said earlier, fast travelling does use more of your fuel. I need to stop at that first one. I always like to put a marker in so that I can tell the distance, basically since my last net's gone in or whichever. This boat, it seems to skid. You see, I'm not doing anything. I just turned it a bit and the boat just basically skidded round. Or it seemed to skid round. So they're quite, I find them quite hard to control. And the other thing I'd like to see, the throttle separated, because sometimes you're throttling. You can need to be quite precise sometimes, especially when you're picking up the crab pots, and there's a lot of them to pick up. There's one of the ships has got like 50. So you've got to drop a load over the side to start off with, which is easy because you just drop them off with this big crane while one of your crew's baiting the pots. But then when you come to pick them up, you want them in a straight line so you're not having to steer around. And don't forget, the sea can have you bucking up and down as well. But when you're steering, sometimes when you're steering, it'll put the throttle up. So I'd like to see them on different axes, on the controller, because it's all on the left stick. The throttle and the steering's all on the left stick, which I think is not a good idea. I need to get another crew member to help me do this. So I'll get to go to net hauling. Oh, I might have gone on the wrong thing actually. Oh no, set gear. It don't matter. She gains experience as we go anyway. So I'm just gonna put two. I've got 2 damage nets. Anyway, you get a bit of a silly mini game now, where the ship's going left and right. You got to keep it. I don't know what happens if you don't do this. To be honest with you, I've never actually checked. That doesn't go off automatically. You've got to go back to the icon and select it to get the crew to go off. It's giving you a readout there, 90 now, well basically 90 out of 165 metres for that net that's going out. Basically it's going to dangle in water, and again I can't remember, I've got it written down somewhere but I don't need to refer to it. It's probably about 8, I think it's like 18 hours 30 minutes or something like that, and then they'll turn from red to green to blue, and then you've got your optimum. So now I need at least 100 yards, I think. So I'll put the next net out at 500 metres, 500 yards, so I can speed up now actually. I'll only put 2 nets out. I'm only showing you how it's done. I'm not here to play the game. When you're watching on game helps and things like that, people have this tendency to kind of play the game in front of you and start messing about, collecting this and other. It really annoys me, especially on a tutorial. You know, you're just wanting the information out of them. So it's like, get to the point, mate. Get to the point. Oh, that's switched round. Yeah, I don't see the point of it. These silly little mini games, I just find them very annoying, and the most annoying mini game is with the collecting of the nets for me. And I think if you don't do it properly, it actually damages your net and reduces your catch as well. It's just a little bit silly, and it's like when you get further in the game, or not further in the game, if you're doing the crab fishing, they don't have really a mini game. You have to sort crabs out from male to female. You're not allowed to land or to catch and keep and attempt to sell female crabs. They've got to be thrown back, and your crew members can do that, and you can do it yourself. And that ain't really a mini game. That's something you'd have to do. I mean, it is a mini game, obviously, but it's not a mini game like, well, press the button at perfect timing and everything's going to be all right. It's not one of them sort of mini games. It's a totally different sort of mini game. I'm just going to have them 2 nets because I only want to show you. And again, you'll see how boats just swinging about. You can see how long your nets have been out when you go to these. Deployed gear's been out for 50 minutes nearly. 50 minutes now. Now it's saying what gear you've got on the boat. It says we've got a 2000 hook unbaited long line, unbaited pots and nets and pot bait, but I can't use them. I might have them on board, but I can't use them, which is a bit, I don't know why they're listed, because they're not actually fit to boat. I don't have the long lines. Well, I could have them, but I can't actually use the long lines is what I'm trying to say, and I can't use my crab pots either. What I can show you is possibly the quarters though. Yeah, I've used up all my cod quarter basically. Haddock's nearly done. Pollock, I've got those left, and redfish I can't catch any more of them, but I can catch loads of crabs. But it don't matter because I'm only showing you how it's done. So what we're looking for now, I need probably another 7. I need to waste another 17 hours of time basically. And you can do that. I could go back to port, but I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna. Where are we at now? 3:15. I need sort of 18 hours. So that's basically 9 o'clock at night. So it'd be like getting on for 2100. I'll just waste some fuel. And that's not it's not taken very long, has it, to do that? It's a fast boat, you see. Yeah, crossing land. I'd rather see a way of speeding time up on the boat rather than having to go to port. I think that's a big mistake that they've made. They did the same thing on that train sim. It's not the same company, but it's a similar sort of error in my mind. You know, it's a game, and sometimes they make you just jump through a few too many hoops, don't they? Right, I'll just check me. You see, they've gone to amber now, haven't they? Our number one's now gone to like an amber colour. The outside of the buoy markers there. That one's still red. I'll just waste a bit more time doing that, I guess. You see the buoy marker changed then to, that one's gone to green, and I'll leave it at green. I'll just go collect them like that. It doesn't matter because I'm not going to be selling fish. I'll just show you how it's done. I should have done this to start off with. I shouldn't really messed about doing that. Look, eh? I'll start fast travel. It obviously thought, oh, they've gone below now anyway, so it doesn't matter. So they're over there to the left. And it's like you get the same thing as you do for the line fishing. You've just got to line up with the correct side of the boat with the buoys that have got the net on. It's fairly simple. You have to be patient. Oops! Oh, I've overshot it. yeah, it's real simple. We've got nice calm seas here. Why is it going that way? This is the problem with the way that the control is. As you're using the throttle, it's turning your boat, or as you're turning the boat, it's using the throttle, and it is a little bit annoying. And I'd like to see them controls separated, especially when some of the bigger ships, they take a lot more. Steering, you know, the delays and all that's longer. Oh, proper mess this up. The other thing as well, the music, just under the compass there, the music keeps coming up like it's saying it's playing dark. Oh, come on! That was because I tried to turn it, the throttle went right up. You can tell I'm out of practice. There's me saying, oh yeah, you need patience for this game, mate. Yeah, look what I've done here. What an absolute abomination this has been. Some of the upgrades on the boats are like side jets, so you can actually make the boat go sideways. Or ship in them cases. I think I might have missed that again. No, I haven't. There we go. Haul it. Now I've got to press the D-pad. Oh, it's really annoying. If you see it, it just tells you which one to press, and sometimes it's the same one 2 or 3 times, and it's just awful. I hate doing it. It really puts me off. And you got to do it 15 blooming times as well. When you do it 15 times, you know you got a good catch though. So Sometimes if it's less, it means that you've not caught so much. If you get it wrong, you see it's damaging my net. The net bottom of the net's gone red and it stays permanently net. I'm sure that's just damage. See, this isn't the. I just don't like doing this sort of thing. Some people might think it's not a problem, or some people might actually enjoy it. I just don't. It just seems silly. And it just seems to be taking forever as well. I'm not collecting that other net. That's what I've collected, but I've got so little left in my. No, I don't want to gut the fish. What I'll do is I'd set the crew gutting the fish, because the crew gets better and better. And it's quite easy. It's a bit weird how you select these crews though. You have to select and then it goes back to the beginning. Then you got to put her there. Then you got to reselect the crew icon on the main screen and press it again to get rid of it. But while you're driving or fast travelling, she'll be gutting fish until she runs out of stamina. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go straight back to port. I'm not even bothering with that other. I just wanted to show you how you do that. So I'll stop placing waypoints, and when we get back to port I'll show you the logbook. See, again, something's blocking us there. That just gets wearing after a while, because there's no reason for that boat to be there. It's just every time you're coming back to port, it just seems to appear in front of you. You see, the weather just changed because it's midnight and it started raining. See, I don't know if you can see, but the list of music that I'm not listening to was just scrolling really fast from left to right underneath that thing. I don't even know why it's doing it, and there's no way of stopping it. And there's no way clearing all this junk off your screen either. Yeah, dock and sell it all. So now you can see from if I can go back. I'm going back like in dates. I'm going back to, that's 18th of September. I've gone back to then. It tells you what my net income for that catch was. So I'll come forward to today. You see, some of them are quite high. 400,000 for the catch there, and that's after all your expenses. This one, it's only one net's worth. It's 116,000. But my port reputation is worth 12,000 of that, and expenses for crew are there. It tells you what fish, what the weights were. It's pretty comprehensive. And I'll get down to my certificates at the bottom there. You can see my next certificate is I've got them amateur certificate, junior, senior, skipper, and I've only got a few kilometres to do on this last one. And that basically unlocks the last boat. So that is your basic net fishing. I'll find you a game now that's got. I hope I've got one. Svalbard. That's the. Is that the right one? 23 grand. Yeah, it'll be that one. I don't know where I'm at with it. I'll just load it anyway. It's the bigger ship, and it's just solely for crab fishing, king crab fishing. I'll just make sure I've got everything that I need. I know I've got the crew that I need on board. I'm sure I have. Let's have a look. On board, yeah, I've got plenty of crew. All I need really is bait. Yeah, I've got 50 odd large pots, you see. I'll just make sure I've got enough bait. Yeah, I've got enough bait. So just a quick look at the map, what you do. You want to be right over there, that's where most of them are. I'll zoom in so I can be more accurate. Okay, that'll do. So launch out of port now. I can use the side thrusters. So I'm using the D-pad. This boat's, I think it's fully upgraded now. It's a ship really, isn't it, this? I just need to be clear of the dock and I can just go to fast travel. That's one good thing about this. I'll try my zoom that I didn't know I had. It doesn't zoom out that much, does it? It's very tetchy. Alright, that's better. That's actually going to make life a bit easier using these big boats. It's funny it's taken me a month to discover that. Never read instructions. I'll just start fast travelling. Right, I'm in place for them now. So what I need to do is I need to set a crew. I need to set a crew member to bait and set the pots. It doesn't really matter who. One of them's been cooking food, but you'll find some help on this. I've never got one of them to successfully use the crane yet. I tend to do that myself, but I hadn't really tried because I got a bit cheesed off with doing this. It's good money, but it's just I didn't like doing it that much. I don't know why. But you do earn a lot of money from doing this, so I'll get rid of the crew. So the way I'd started doing it was I'd just set the ship. I set the ship throttle, and then I go to first person, leave my seat, go down here to this lower deck. So got my guy there, he's going to bait the pots. And then I just use the crane. Using the crane's pretty simple. You don't need, it's not like Farm Simulator. You watch him baiting that pot, he'll actually do it, and then he'll push the pot over. And it won't ever do them too close either. So it might, when the pot's baited, he might wait until the ship's got a certain distance before he'll throw the pot. It's not really a pot, is it? It's a big cage. We are moving, but very, very slowly. I probably need to up the throttle really, which I can do. Come on, get out of here. Oh, what, let me out of here. Oh, there we are. Yeah, we're not going fast enough. We should just go a little bit faster. But that is essentially it. I've ended up back in here. I'll have to go back down now. Yeah, he's thrown that pot off now. So as you're going, you can see it's leaving the boys band. We're probably going a little bit too fast now, but it doesn't matter. As you go, you'll learn how to play it. And one of the things you learn is don't put too many pots out at once, because you end up then having to collect them all again, and by the time you've collected them, half of the crabs that were in them have gone, because there's like a sweet spot, and it doesn't last long either. I think it's 17 and a half hours or something like that, or 18 and a half hours, can't remember which it is for crab pots. But they go from red to amber to green to blue, and blue's the op for some reason. You'd think it'd be green, but it's blue. Blue's when you collect them, because of the nature of the way that the game doesn't really run in real time. It takes you a lot longer to collect them than it does to put them down, and by the time you get some of them, the timing's decayed, and you're losing crabs. Now there's a sound bug. Don't know if you can hear it. It's just, come on, you can hear the engine and dip 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 dip. But what I'm going to do is see we're getting more of a swell now suddenly. It's taking us off course as well. That can be a bit annoying. I'm going to exit out of that, and I'm going to go back to that view. And to get rid of the sound bug, I have to reload it, but all you do is just press and hold the left stick, the left stick button, so you press down on the left stick button, it switches your engine off, and just switch it back on again, and it fixes the bug. See, the sun moved just suddenly then, the lighting. They could have done a lot more with the way the environment is, and I think that's very poor. But at the end of the day, it's a £24 game, but I would expect the graphics to be, because there's not that much there. You basically got sea, ship and sky, and the ship models are quite nice. The sea's not too bad, but the sky's pretty rubbish, really. What I'm going to do is I'm going to skip us some time just by fast travelling around, because there's no other way you can do it. And I'll just come round, because I want there to be some crabs in there, so you can see what your next sort of procedure is for for crab fishing, basically. Yeah, I really don't like that you've got to mess about like this. I don't know why they've not put like just a straightforward accelerate time button, and then when you get to you can have proper real time when you want it. When you've got a lot of work to do. Like picking these pots up is like real work. Yeah, they're going amber now. That'll be good enough. I'll head back towards the pots now. Hopefully show you. Actually, no, I'll wait till it's daylight. It'll be a bit dark. No point in doing it in dark if I can do it in light, is there? I've enjoyed this game though. There's no doubt about that. I played it. I won't play it anymore. This is probably going to be the last time I play it. But that's how I am with games. I just get bored with them, like we all do, I guess. So you don't play out forever. That's half the attraction, isn't it? So I can just see the pots there in distance. So I'll keep my throttle down, and I've got to assign my crew. Oops, press wrong button. I need to assign my crew to sort the crabs. I'll only assign 2, and there is a reason why I will assign 2. It'll take them longer to do it, and I can then show you how to sort the crabs. And the sorting of the crabs applies to the small pots, not the big pots as well. And they do sell for good money. Very good money. but they do take a lot of getting. I mean, happily, you don't lose your crew overboard or anything, which is what happens in real life, and you don't get any mechanical failures where your crew gets decapitated by a breaking chain or whatever either. So that's probably for the best. Right. Come on then. Hang on. Whoa. Oh no, I needed someone on crane. I need to put someone on crane. I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, even though she's still walking to crane, you can see crane working in the background there. She's walking to it, but she's actually on it, if you know what I mean. So they're now sorting the crabs out. So I'm gonna. I hope you saw how that happened. You know, the AI worker basically craned that catch pot in. So you've got your crabs on that sorting table, and you've got a bucket. It looks like a bucket, but it's part of the ship. So you pick the crab up and you examine it. That's a male. You can tell that that's a male. It does tell you in the wiki how to tell what a male is. That's a female because it's got that big lump underneath it. So that's going back. That's a male. It's sort of flat and it's got that sort of rounded triangular shape, like an isosceles. Is it isosceles triangle? Have I got that right? That's a male. It's flatter bellied and that's a male as well. And that goes back in. So what I do now is this is why I like them in nice straight lines. Is because I'd have to manoeuvre the ship around. I'm not gonna subject you to all this. I'm just quickly showing you. But the boy's there right at the front of the ship. But I can use the side jets, like the thrusters, just a little bit to move us over that way. There is a method to doing this. You'll work it out yourself. You'll also work out the timing as well of how quick you can get your pots in relation to what's out. There's no point in having 50 pots out if you can only get 10 in before they go off. You know, before they start degrading in the amount of catch that you've got. I mean, the whole thing's pointless if you do that. You just end up doing it for literally nothing. Hopefully you should see it here. The pot will get caught, I'm hoping. But for some reason it hasn't. I have no idea why. I don't know why that didn't get pulled up then. I've got no idea. Oh, it's because there's still one on there. I don't know what's going on. The crew's supposed to remove that pot that's on there when they've finished with the. That's why that didn't get pulled up. I wonder if it's because I went down there and interfered. I don't know. I've never known this happen before. Because the person on the crane, they've thrown it out. They've thrown it off again, like it's got baited. Have I got someone on baiting? I wonder if it's that. Oh yeah, I've got someone baiting the pots, haven't I? That's why it's never happened before, because they're rebaiting the pot and throwing it back out again as it goes up. So that's my fault. If I'd have just left it on, if I'd have left the guy off of baiting, because he's been on there for ages, hasn't he? They'd just to pick that pot up and they'd be sorting them out. So that's that sorted. But that's how you do it. So I'll quickly show you my logbook, because that'll give you. Let me get rid of this screen. My logbook, which will show you the catches that I've had, my sales. So that's a load of crabs, 5.7 million. and there's my crew expenses, and there's my fines because they didn't sort them out properly. But that's quite a nice profit, isn't it? And there's a 3 million catch, a 4.5 million catch, and then we're back to fish on one of the other boats. So you know, you can really start raking money in. So I'll show you my trawler, a lunar bow. Let's see which one is the best one. When did I get that? That's 17 million. Oh, that'll do. That's my latest game, Boxing Day, wasn't it? I mean, I'm pretty sure that you'll have an idea whether this game's for you by now. I'm not too keen on the trawling because I don't know. I just don't like the way it works. So we'll just set sail straight away. I've got the side thrusters on, and we've got to make our way up to that bit of the map that I mentioned earlier. You can see I've opened the map up quite a lot with all my different boats and that lot. We'll get into this bit here. All you need to be is in that green circle, and then you can. And then the game. I'll show you. The game just basically changes. I pressed the wrong button there, didn't I? Come on. Yeah, there is a couple of bugs in this game, and I'm surprised that they're there because the game's quite old. That sound bug's quite a common one. And then you get one where the graphics go funny, but like I said before, you can just reload. And it sorts it out. But they shouldn't really be there. The game's that old, and I'm surprised. It just smacks a bit of laziness. If you're putting it, they seem to put stuff on Xbox after it's been on PC. It's like Farmer's Dynasty, you know. They doesn't say anything on that. How did that arrive after it being on the PC for 2 years with the amount of horrible game-breaking bugs that were in it? You don't want game-breaking bugs, but that Farmer's Dynasty had one. And that's pretty bad. In fact, it's not pretty bad, it's bloody disgusting, to be honest with you. It shouldn't have happened. I won't be buying their games again, I don't think. You don't trust them. You know what I mean? It's just a waste of your money. It's not just your money, you waste your time as well. And it's frustrating. I mean, luckily this game I've not had like a game, you know, anything that's really lost me anything, because the game actually does autosave and things like that. So the bugs are just niggly little bugs. Stop placing waypoints. Start fast travel. Excuse me. I don't know where that came from, but I think there's another one on its way. Yeah, when you get into this green circle, you're in it now, but you're not in it. You have to select it. You go to. It's called open water, so I'm using the D-pad and I'm going to that icon that's at the bottom right there, and it now says go to open water, press A. So I go to open water and it just does a bit of loading. I don't know why it's showing us the weather. I really don't know why it's showing us the weather. I don't want it to show us out. I want it to just not do that. So what I've got to do now is I have to set my crew onto set trawl. I've got her cooking. See, this really could do with a mouse. It can be confusing as to where the cursor actually is. At the moment, it's on the set trawl slots. So I want to put him onto. So it was on the whole trawl. I want to put him onto set trawl. Oh, I missed him. Oh, come on! Why has it gone on to music? See, that's really annoying. I can do it from here. You have to move from your driving position. It's quite a nice boat, this, isn't it? Look at all this stuff you've got here. Move from there to this. Get in this seat here. And I can call my crew up. When I've switched music off, it should be off. It shouldn't be telling me what's playing when I'm not listening to it, and then shouldn't give me the option to, shuffle things and play things. I'm just not interested. I don't know why it don't get that. So as soon as I start these levers going, that'll set my nets going out. What it should do. Why isn't it? Ah, there we go. I had to get them. Need the crew to do this. So if you look carefully, you can see the wires getting, the cables getting paid out. So I can go to my display up here. This is all configurable. I'm not even going to go into this. It's quite complicated, and you'd need a tutorial just to be able to do this. But I've basically figured it out. You've got a forward-looking you've got a forward-looking sonar. And it says port and starboard doors. They were the great big bits of metal that came off the back, basically, and they're shoals of fish that are showing up green. And then you've got this thing called a spider, and at the moment it's got them little green blobs on it, and they open out, and it shows you what your net opening's like. It shows you how much wire you've got out, how deep it is, and there's some down at the bottom there, and it says 60%, 8%, 40%, 20%, 10%. That's how much catch you've got in your net. Then you've got that number that's going down with the blue line. It's saying 70, 69, 68, and then next to that, you've got a smaller panel, and that's where you can see how much fish you're catching at any time. And it can sometimes take a very long time to actually get any fish on board. And then you'll have to wait until you get some more fish on board. It's just, I just don't like doing it. And this display, to me, is a mess. You've got graphics overwritten on graphics. So if you look carefully, you can see it's quite ugly in places. Where it says catch, there's an X over it. Catch on the bottom left-hand side. And DP number 3, they've both got an X overwritten on them. In fact, everything on that panel's got an X overwritten on it. Like you can, it's got something for mouse control. But I haven't actually checked if you can use mouse on this or not. You may be able to, but it's more of a controllery sort of game, I think. It's possible you can use mouse and keyboard, but I just don't know. But Mum, we haven't caught any fish yet. The net's still, it's just basically paying out. You see that spider. You see what we've got as well. Oops, I pressed the wrong button. Is the throttling, that still works. So as I go forward, there's different ways of doing it. You see, the net's just going out as we were sitting still, but now I'm going forward. Where's my speed? Yeah, speed now. It's 1.7 knots because it's just showing it in knots. It's right there, right under the hand. 2.8 knots. We still haven't caught anything. It looks like there's a shoal of fish 190 metres over to the thing. But when you turn the ship, it doesn't seem to do what you expect it to do. You see, you're looking from your net forward here, supposedly. So I actually don't really get this. But just eventually, it seems almost like you just keep doing it, and eventually you catch fish. And this bit of water we're on just goes on forever and ever. See, it's saying the distance on that spider's slightly wrong because it's gone red, but the trawl speed ain't up yet, and the symmetry's wrong. So I don't really know how to fix that. Still haven't caught any fish. And you see that distance, even though we're doing 4.5 knots, hasn't really changed. 189 metres, where it's showing you we're near that starboard door. And none of it really seems to make any real sense at all to me. Not really. And it's really badly explained in the manual. I looked on internet, on YouTube, to see if I could find any help on it, and it was someone did a video on helping a little bit, and it to be honest with you, it wasn't much help. It's about as much help as me telling you now, because I've done this quite a few times and I still don't really know how it works. I've caught some fish now. It's catching fish at the rate of like 2, whatever that might mean. But I've done this until it's full, and it's taken quite some time, because you've got to haul the net right back in again, and it just doesn't seem like it's worth the effort sometimes. So I've actually caught some fish there. So what I'm going to do is it's still catching fish, so I'm going to start the net hauling back in. You know, just to sort of basically complete this, so that you get a good idea of I don't think anyone's going to enjoy doing this bit, to be honest with you. But I'm still catching fish, but I'm bringing the nets up now. But it's going to take quite some time. You see the spider on the left now, it's all green. And I've stopped catching fish now, even though it looks like they're still right there in front of my net. But they've gone over to it right now at 200 metres. So you'd think to yourself, oh well, you can turn to it right. So if I start turning, you can't tell that I'm turning, but you can see the little boat icon. It is actually turning. But what that starts doing, it alters your symmetry. It doesn't seem to alter anything else. And I've no idea whether my boat is straight or not, because there's nothing on the rudder to tell me whether I've straightened the rudder, how many degrees of turn I've got. It's just not very good. It's just confusing. And when you look out now, I can show you by getting the external view. You've got old seagulls. When you turn, I've up the power as well. When you turn, you can see the cables. Oh come on, that's not very good at all. That's not enough zoom out, is it? Man, it's better than zoom out I had. Yeah, I don't like trawling. It's that simple. I've only caught 20% of a load, and it just takes ages to wind that net back in as well. You'll see. And I'm still not catching out, even though it looks like there's something right there in front of us. I know we've got to catch it up, but it's slipping off to it right there. I don't know what it means. 137 metres, 134 metres, and it's high density or something, and it looks like we might be slightly above it, but it's really not making much sense, and I don't get it. But then again, now we're catching fish again now, and the sonar's saying now it's 202 metres to the left, and I just don't get it. Not only do I not get it, it's so confusing. It's sort of made me lose interest in it, if you know what I mean. But it is one of them games that you're gonna like it or you're not like it, and every game has got a limitation as to how much you want to play it. Even the best game in the world, you get fed up after a few weeks or hours or whatever, you know. It depends on it. Some games you can be really keen on, and then all of a sudden you think, oh, I've had enough. And this is one of them. You know, I've found out everything. I like to find out how it works, and I've found out how it works. And to be honest with you, for the £25 it cost, I think it's been a great game. But I've had enough of it. But it has been a good game. There's no doubt about that, and I've enjoyed playing it. I've enjoyed learning about it. I'd like to see it more complicated. I'd like to see it more simulator-like, and I'd like to see much better graphics in it, because nothing's moving that fast. They need to get rid of this Unreal Engine and get something that's actually good, that's really pretty. Ship models are alright, but then again, you know, that's about it. And also, for the amount of time it's been out, there's a few bugs in it that really shouldn't be there. That's about the size of it anyway. I guess I'll wait until basically what happens is the net comes up, and then you have to reassign your crew to haul your load in, and it's very easy. You don't actually do out, the crew does it all for you, and it's pretty easy. And if I go to my, let's have a look, eventually I'll get it up there, to my logbook, you can see that my last catch was 7.8 million. And that was mackerel. You see, I'm fishing for mackerel and pollock in this. It's big money. It's very big money, and you pretty soon. That was only a small load. I think that might have been a full load. I might have actually filled the boat up with that. You can see I've got all my certificates. Let's see. That was about the crab pots. These are jobs that I've done quite a lot. Events. You see, I'm only, the game starts in mid-August, like 15th of August. So in 2 months, 2 game months, I've progressed to like second best ship, and I've got 17 million. I owe a bit, but I can pay all my bank loans off pretty easy if I wanted. You know, but you're going out and you're catching. That's them doors, the trawl doors there. Them big things. I wonder if they're up yet. No, they're all still winding up. Oh no, they're there. I think I might better haul it in. Hang on, let me just check. It's a really funny game, and this is really clunky how this works. You really could do with a mouse for this. I hope you could see how that was working, but it was. Yeah, this is all in the net now. So if I go to outside view, see that net just suddenly appears. That's not very good, is it? And basically they get sucked into your hold, and I'm not having any input onto this. The game, or the crew's just doing it and pumping the fish into the hold. Pretty average in it, and that just tells you how much you caught. And bear in mind, I was less than half full. That's really it. And now if I want to go back to port, I have to leave. I have to sort of like select return port, and then it loads back to your map, and then I can it goes back to how it was, and then I can go to the map, because you had no access to the map on that. I can just set my waypoints. I'm not going to do it. I'm just showing you how you can do it. There's other ports you can unlock. Like, I've been to that port. There's one up here somewhere. Been to that port. But that's your main port down here. Is that one there? There's another one there. There could be another couple scattered about, but like I said, I've pretty much had enough of this game, and I won't be playing it anymore. But I've enjoyed it, and I'm not really going to show anymore. I think you've seen enough now. And basically that's the basics of the game, and I've enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.